him speaking about it from his own experience. Even worse to me is that a lot of what we get was coming through a lens of media, not coming directly from him himself. And media was getting all sorts of details about his background wrong.
This is a topic that people have thought about forever. Like if you look at ancient history and stuff, they think about, oh, what's up there, you know? But in pop culture per se, it was more of a culty topic or like underground topic, if you will, forever within America. And then that narrative really started to shift to a more mainstream, if you will, attitude towards it in 2017 because Christopher Mellon was able to legally walk out of his job at the Defense Department and give information that he was legally allowed to give to the New York Times, makes this whole story about UFOs. Then guys like the former head of the ATIP desk, Lou Elizondo, come out. They talk about this stuff. There's a few things there too. And then you eventually get to David Grusch coming out, who, you know, came from the Air Force background and had access allegedly to all this information that was highly classified about potential sightings or things that were recovered. Again, it's not like he brought out the proof of that, but discussed at length the files that he allegedly saw. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, on the one hand, let's say this was an intelligence op. And let's say they were covering for technology they didn't want people to know about. That makes sense to me. But are there other possibilities that I'm not thinking of besides like, oh, it's actually real and they're out of the goodness of their heart doing this? Are there other intelligence-related things that they could be doing that for as a cover that you can think of?
You mean the whistleblowers?
Yes.
Any intelligence-related reason why they would be sharing the information?
Yes, to cover for something besides what I'm thinking of, which is like advanced technology they don't want us to know the government has.
So are you saying that the whistleblowers are orchestrated, not genuine?
I'm saying if they are. I don't know.
If they are. So the way I see your Lou Elizondos and your David Grushes of the world, most likely they were if they were part of a sensitive program, they were in a very compartmented piece of a large sensitive program. Okay. I have worked with people who have been assigned to Area 51. I have worked with commanding officers who have been given commands over experimental locations. And it's so heavily compartmented that even the commanders don't know the things that happen under their command until after they are there and after something is so relevant that they have a need to know about the thing that they're commanding.
Right.
Their job is really just to make sure that super secret room number 1 is funded and has staffing and has security protocols in place. You're not allowed to actually know what's happening in super secret room number 1 because even though you're the commander of the building, you don't have that need to know. So it's so heavily compartmentalized. Yes. So if they were involved in a sensitive program, they were probably part of a highly compartmentalized column inside of a larger program. So when they see what they see, there's so much more that they don't see. So then when they don't have a context for what they're putting together. So when they come out and they blow a whistle on what they did see, there's all sorts of stuff that they did not see, that they did not have access to, that they're essentially assuming or defining or whatever else, right? But they didn't have access to it. And that's by design. So they could believe that they were part of a program and there were other things going on that they did not themselves witness, but they did witness this one piece, and that could be what they're sharing. They could also be they could be believers themselves and be overstating or overblowing their own experience.
To the YouTube reviewers who are reviewing this episode, all subject matters discussed herein are strictly discussed in an educational context. We show absolutely no imagery or video of war or sensitive events of any kind, so we are fully in compliance with the monetization procedures such that we are not showing sensitive events or anything like that. I've had Andy in here for 5 episodes in 2022 and 2023. They are all fully monetized, and we also discuss all kinds of geopolitical struggles around the world in those, just like we did in this one. So thank you for your attention to this and enjoy the rest of the episode. What did you think of what David Grusch was saying?
You know, the whole Grusch example, it didn't sit right with me. I didn't feel like what he was talking about was could be corroborated by a second or third source. It was just him speaking about it from his own experience. Even worse to me is that a lot of what we get was coming through a lens of media, not coming directly from him himself. And media was getting all sorts of details about his background wrong, from what service he was in to what his job was to what his career was. Yeah. So if they're getting those details about him wrong, which are easily documented and easy to track down and easy to vet and verify, then how much of the actual information that he's saying are they also getting wrong?
Yeah. So Jesse Michaels has a show called American Alchemy, which is really incredible on YouTube. And he's works in the Teal office and everything. I might have been telling you about him off camera, but he's eventually going to be on this podcast. I've had a chance to talk with him a bunch. Really good dude. But he was like the first guy to get the interview with Grusch. He's known Grusch for, I think, years at this point, like 3.5, 4 years. And I really want him to explain it when he comes on my show, because he can explain how he views it a lot better than I can. But my takeaway from what he said is that he felt, as someone who's not in the government, to be clear, he felt that Grusch basically had access. There were too many kernels of information that he was able to get, whether you believe it or not, that's a separate question, to be able to say that it was a planted story for someone on the squirrel route who's curious to pick up like him. He's like, there were too many things that he got to, including evidently like witnessing some of the, actually seeing like some of the evidence itself. So do you think that, whether it's Grusch or someone else though, do you think that there could be systems in place where higher level forms of the government intelligence want whistleblowers to pick up some kernels of information that it's like bullshit they put there so that they can push a narrative? That's like 2D chess.
Yeah, right. It's the idea that there's some sort of planned conspiracy of...
I didn't call it a conspiracy.
What you explained was a conspiracy, right? That elements in power would plant seeds in people who might be whistleblowers so that they would intentionally go out and spread incorrect information. That is basically the definition of conspiracy, right?
I accept your definition.
But so I come from a world where I very much believe that you cannot attribute to conspiracy what can be explained with idiocy, right? That's one of the two laws of analysis. When people come out and say something, when whistleblowers come out and claim what they believe or what they're so convicted about, going back to Snowden, right? They're certain that they're right and the world needs to know. They don't have all the information. And by definition, when you're inside government, when you're inside secret government organizations, you never have all the information. That's how the government protects itself from having somebody like a real whistleblower come out and give all the keys to the kingdom, like we call them, right? All the secrets at once. Right. So if people like your contact at is it American Alchemy?
Yeah, Jesse Michaels.
So like if someone of Jesse's experience is saying it doesn't smell right, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, maybe it's a duck. If it doesn't smell right to him.
Well, no, he's saying it does. He's saying that Grusch couldn't have been the quote unquote planted squirrel to get that information because he got to too much. Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.